Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me.
The Belize Project is the umbrella organization for several ministries focused on rehabilitation, reintegration, education, youth intervention, and entrepreneurship. Beverly Totti is the Global Missions Director of Restore Small Groups, and Ruth Williams is the chairlady of the Belize Project. We sat down with the ladies to learn more about the organization and the work they continue to do. We will have that discussion after this break to hear from our partners, Minister Kevin Bernard, the Barry, Bell Martin, and Silgrass Farms.
Count on you, count on one and all. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. It's not for you, not for me, it's not for we. Love and respect one another. Fellow man, that is your brother, yeah. Share the love.
Orange Walk, the future is brighter. Since Kevin Bernard became your representative, progress has never stopped, with Plan Belize 2.0 leading the way. In Palmar, 2 main roads have been paved. The main road that passes through Tower Hill Village has been paved, connecting our community. In Tanpine Ridge, the entire road has been paved, a major step forward. And every month, new roads are being paved in Orange Walk East. Kevin Bernard is committed to building a stronger Orange Walk East, one road at a time. Together, we're moving forward. Kevin is the people's champion.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
At Siltgrass Farms, we believe in more than just growing food. We're cultivating a future. Across 9,000 acres in the foothills of the Maya Mountains, our family of farms grows a vibrant array of crops: coconuts, citrus, cacao, watermelons, avocados. But our mission goes beyond harvests. Through sustainable agriculture, we are not just growing crops, we're strengthening ecosystems and reversing the impacts of climate change. Siltgrass Farms is a part of a global movement, transforming modern food systems into living stories of nutrition, nature, and people. From our fields to your table, every product tells a story of health and hope for the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You that you and me that me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now.
And we're going to talk about the Belize Project. And when we hear the Belize Project, well, we think of something big and wide because of our beloved country, Belize. I mean, to me, Belize is the most beautiful country in the world, right? And I'm sure our guests will agree that it's the most beautiful country. Not because I'm cornering you on a microphone, but it's the most beautiful country that one can ever think about, right? nature has blessed thee with wealth untold. That's what our national anthem says. Let me introduce Mrs. Beverly Totti, the Global Missions Director of Restore Small Groups, and Mrs. Ruth Williams, Chairlady of the Belize Project. Right? Now, what's the connection between Restore Small Groups and the Belize Project?
The Belize Project's mission is bringing people, places, and things to life. And over 20 years ago, Mr. Mac Kelton came to your beautiful country of Belize and united himself by his heart with Ismael Viejos, who is the director and founder of Jacob's Farm. And both of those men saw that they can serve other men of your country to strengthen your beautiful country. So the Belize Project is a conglomeration of many ministries. The focus is rehabilitation, reintegration, education, youth intervention, microenterprise, and entrepreneurship. So that walks with a person in a wholeness from where they are, where they may not want to stay, and how we can walk with them with programs, services, centers, love, encouragement. So the Belize Project just looks at what the needs are, and we find people in your country that are making a difference. We walk alongside with them. We assist them in helping their own country get stronger. So it started with Jacob's Farm in the north. Yes, sir, and that was the beginning of how do we serve the country of Belize.
Jacob's Farm is a major rehabilitation operation, right?
There has been a lot of work over the last 15 years bringing Jacob's Farm into a place where it is a model facility as a resident facility to reach men, which does give them housing and education and rehabilitation for about a 6-month period. It's a personal program that they set up with their directors. But then it also extends out to women of domestic violence through the House of Dorcas. Then it extends, you asked the question of the connection of the Restore Small Groups. Mac Keltons knew that the program of Journey to Freedom, which is a Christian change-based program that works with people from the beginning of what is hope, and then walks with them for them to sit and see what God has said about them, how they can become the best version of themselves. So the Journey to Freedom is a ministry under the Belize Project. So what the Belize Project tries to do is bring gifts and talents to your people and then serve them. So there's been many projects, from sewing to sewing machines to rice shakers, or what you call them for the rice farmers. And it's walking along with someone that may not have the resources or the knowledge of how to move forward. So we bring gifts and talents to your country, and then we empower people of your country to serve better or with full resources.
Now, looking at you, how did you become connected with the Belize Project?
Mac Kelton and I have a background in real estate in Nashville, Tennessee. I am also a Girl Scout leader of life, and he asked me if I wanted to work on one of the projects for buttons and blue jeans for some of the teachers and the sewers in San Jose and San Felipe Village years ago. And I participated in that, and I fell in love. I'm also a scuba diver, so I knew what y'all had to offer. When I got here, it would be something real special. So what I did not realize is God brought me here for one purpose. I came under a selfish purpose, but then God touched my heart in the middle of the YMCA in 2013 when I had this book in my hand with the gentleman Scott Reel who wrote the book, and I was here to hand out pencils, but I was going diving. And I had been praying, I'm a business person, and I had been praying, God, give me purpose. And he spoke to my heart. He said, this is what you're going to do as fast as you can to as many people who will listen. At that point, I was called as a missionary and to be a disciple, to call others disciple. So I have led Journey to Freedom groups not only in the U.S., but have also came here and led groups, encouraged people to do the groups. It's just a tool. It's the changing grace of Jesus Christ, but it's a tool that I was given to hand out. So I have encouraged people. I have been able to enlist them to be trained, and we've also been able to enlarge our ministry base by sharing with them the Journey to Freedom series. So it started at Jacob's Farm. We have House of Dorcas. Then the Ministry of Restore Small Groups came, and then the Lord brought me into Kobe Foundation, the Belize Central Prison, in 2014. And for the last 11 years, that is my mission, is to reach them that are incarcerated and bounded into darkness and share the hope of Christ with them and encourage them that this is a pause in the plan, that God has a purpose for them too. Jeremiah 29:11 is our signature verse, and it says that God knows the plans He has for us.
As an aside, do you still go scuba diving?
I do. I have dove every one of your sites in San Pedro and Key Calker, and there will be a time that I get to dive Calabash Key and stay at the marine site. I didn't know it existed till this trip, so always leave myself something to come back, and it's always been the blue hole, that I leave one thing to come back for. In 35 trips, I have yet to dive the blue hole.
And when are you planning to do that?
As soon as the Lord says it's time, I have to work while I'm here. My purpose is to come here and serve.
You come now, you don't put the scuba diving first, you put the work first,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
And that work has been making significant progress. Now, the Journey to Freedom course you're talking about, maybe you can encapsulate that for me, what all is involved in the Journey to Freedom.
Okay. What we have is a program that we offer to any ministry that wants to serve people, whether it be the youth department, whether it be INDAC, whether it be one of the facilities that are rehabbing, whether it be Kobe that focuses on rehabilitation. We deliver the books, we deliver the training. The actual Journey to Freedom is a 8 to 10 week course that allows people to step into the silence and the time with God. It allows them to see themselves as God sees them. We pray that they leave the world behind and step into options, opportunity, and hope. From there, we walk progressively with them, sharing with them the truth of what God says about them, allowing them to draw out of what they desire, because I do believe that God gives us the desires of our heart. That is biblical. But He also wants us to be strong to serve. So them that are broken, them that are wounded, them that are needing restoration, that is our mission, is to share with them that that's God's heart as well. It is a program that we offer. We train whoever may want to train and do this program in there. So we bring a tool to where they can then use that tool to serve your people.
Now, you Journey to Freedom, you said you do it mostly in the prison, but if someone would like to, on their own, say, well, okay, I need to start my journey to freedom. I'm a slave of whatever situation I'm in, and I need to get out of it. And how can they contact you in some way or fashion or form to take part in your course? And how does that work? Or you just give them a book and they just read it? How does it work?
The exploration could be the book, could be just a prayer time, but we focus on small group. It's a small group process because that small group becomes the body of Christ for that person to heal or to be restored. So we offer, such as the Hope Center. She heard about Miss Julian, and she has a group of ladies that she wants to serve. So we offered her the tool of training. We offered her the tools of books. We offered her the opportunity, and she is called a ministry partner. So Colby is a ministry partner. Jacob's Farm is a ministry partner. So what we are doing is we're bringing to them the tool, the process, and the training for them to continue the ministry.
Jacob Farm, Colby Foundation, the Hope Project, and House of Dorcas.
Believe in Them Halfway House. Several churches that are doing. Pastor Rico was with us yesterday, Frederick Gordon, and he is wanting to bring it to his church to bring restoration to his participants in his church so then they can be better servants for what their mission is.
Now, with us is Mrs. Ruth Williams, chairlady of the Belize Project. Now, what do you do in connection with all of this, Ruth? Because I know you as teacher, Ruth, but
All of what she spoke about in Belize with the Kobe Foundation, House of Dorcas, BIT, Believe in Them, the Restore Small Groups, all of those are under my umbrella. So what I do,
everything in Belize, basically.
yes, sir. But you know, I would call Mrs. Totti my mentor. She's always behind me. Remember to do this. Remember you have to get in contact with your accountant. Remember you have to deposit money. So I am the one that who liaises with those leaders in those ministries. And then if anybody needs anything, they would just call to me. So I'm like partly in charge of giving them money to run their ministries and raise funds as well for them.
Giving money, the money, how does the money circulate? I mean, you give money, you raise money. Explain how that part works.
Okay, like this year, every year for the past 5 years, we have 4 years, because next year is going to be a 5th anniversary. We have been having a gala called Hope Gala. I must say it was a success. Yeah, we have prizes, surprises, you know, right from our country. People were here supporting us. Yeah, different organizations, different business places, like if I can call some of their names, like
You could call it.
yes, Public Utility Commission, PUC, Social Security, DG was one of our gold sponsor. PUC was one of our silver. Atlantic Insurance was one of our bronze. Salmon Kwan. And we have some more, you know, that our, yes, that supported even our in-kind. We had some in-kinds, you know, like they would give us, like I got 6 fans from Vinfa. We got from Pachacan. We had two we call it sofa, the armchairs for yes, for kids. We got a coffee table. We got a stove. I don't know what was the stove's name. Can you remember the stove? Pit stove?
It was a jet stove.
Jet stove. We got 3 armchairs. So we raffled 3 armchairs for students. We call all the teachers them to stand, all the educators, and then they put their tickets in. We pick a name and 3 of them. And you know what? We had a lot of, we had like 25 Mennonites that supported us. 25 Mennonites. They are supporting us with the BIT, Believe in Them, halfway house. They are supporting us with them. They're giving them solar system. They gave them a halfway house that consists of 8 rooms. And then through the University of Belize, Calabash Key, I had asked for 9 mattresses, and they have blessed us with 9 mattresses for the BIT rooms. So, you know, and also we are blessed for the media houses to have us on their program for us to sell what we're doing. So, yeah, that's my job.
So you coordinate all of that. You coordinate the collection of revenues in Belize and the disbursement as well.
Can I say something? Not by myself. I have our marketing promoter. He's a very, very young, energetic person, Kenra Young, Mr. Kenra Young. Oh, him and I, we are right there pushing. Sometimes we buck heads, but we kept the train going.
Yeah.
Yes.
When did you become connected with all of this, teacher?
Well, when I was a teacher, I had met Brother Mac, Mr. Mac Kelton, and my sister here, from another mother, Ms. Beverly Totti. She remembered me, but at that time, you know, he just came into the school, introduced, he just passed through, and he was sponsoring our feeding program at Zion Park Methodist School in Santana Village. So he was sponsoring our feeding program, and that's how I met them. And then we had this reading program that they introduced to our school, and we kept in contact, although they withdrew from because all the sponsors were retired now, so they moved away. So we couldn't get in contact with them to continue assisting our school with the feeding program. So Mr. Mack, continue keeping contact with me and Mrs. Tate. And then one day, the first gala we had, she was traveling back home because she got kind of sick, right? So she called me on the way to the airport, and I'm at San Hill Junction waiting for a ride to go home. She said, sis, I'm calling you. I'm going home because I'm not well, but I would like you to think about it. I would like you to be our cheerleader. And I told her, I don't mind being a cheerleader as long as you are behind me, right? And she, up to today, she's right behind me, assisting me. That's why I say she's my mentor. She's right there, always helping me. So that's how I have been a chairperson.
Has she taken you diving yet?
No, but I think I can't go diving because you have to be certified.
You can look at her. You can watch her.
Look at her, and I can do snorkel. I can snorkel. So whenever she goes, I hope she remembers me to take me with her. And then we're going. I'm going to take pictures and send to you for you to see what she's doing there in the waters.
And she's been coming to Belize for 35 years or
Yes,
35 times. That means 13 years, 35 times. That means you come here, what, about 2-3 times a day?
I do, and I missed to say two things because the Belize Project started by a Rotary group and a Presbytery church in Nashville, Tennessee. They came to give free fresh water buckets to the schools. That was their initial mission. He then found Ismail, and their relationship budded into the serving of the rehabilitation and reintegration. So we actually began as a USA. But in 2016, the Belize Project MPO was formed. So we're celebrating our 10th year as a Belize registered nonprofit. But it originally started 10 years before by Americans that loved your country and wanted to help in any way that they can. So I missed to say that, but from that, the Hope Gala was birthed because I watched the Belizeans being somewhat dependent on American money. And again, I'm a business person. I'm a real estate broker by trade. So I own a real estate company for 40 years. And when I saw them such as agents that didn't have funding and depended on someone else, I knew that was not God's plan and the best plan for them. So God gave me a vision here in the River Hall in 2013, and it was everything that took place in 2022. That's how long it took for the vision to take place. But I believed that they could do it, and I just kept empowering that they could raise money in this country for the goodwill that they were doing. They followed like the Pied Piper. I blowed the horn and looked behind and hoped they were still following. And we had an amazing Jesus party celebrating, because I believe with all of my heart, if you tell the goodness of God, there will be hearts that are drawn into that, and they will then support. So as she said, next year we'll celebrate the 5th Hope Gala. It's getting bigger and better, but the exposure, the theme is bring awareness to healing communities in Belize and how to support their efforts. So it was a move to empower your country to support your mission work for them that you want to be made whole, called your citizens, men, women, and youth.
You know, I felt so good when I heard you say it started with Rotary. You know, as a former Rotary president, a club president, and district governor, you know, of course we start projects like these, and it's good to see that it has transcended and evolved into the services that it now provides to our nation. Because rehabilitation is something important. We all fall on the wayside, as you know. And it's important for us to have someone there to assist us on the way back up. Because we fall, but we don't want to stay down there. We need to get up and dust ourselves and rise and become what we can be.
And the main things with the Belize Project is a person as a whole. Rehab, educate, entrepreneurship. And we encourage that, whatever that looks like, because God has a plan and a purpose for each of us, and it's good. So when you find someone that's not in that good place, you're able to share with them truth and hope, and then expose the lies that they've lived in or the bondage of their exposure from life or childhood, and then encourage them. So that's why the Journey to Freedom program has moved and been in all population of Kobe and all aspects of children, youth, women, and men, because it walks with them to what our true desire is to be a people of purpose and to make something different. There's no one I've ever met that I've asked the question, how many of you want peace? How many of you believe it's possible? And when you start drawing that out of someone, and then God steps in and they hear their Creator, great things happen.
Rehab, educate, and entrepreneurship. You know, that's key. Particularly the entrepreneurship part of it. Well, all of it. It goes together. Because rehab means you realize that you have reached an end and you need to turn back, right? And you need to restore yourself. You need to renew yourself, right? Rehab and then educate. You need to hold my hand and show me how to do that. Educate, draw out the best in me. That's the word education comes from the Latin educare, you know, and, which means to draw out from within. So, so you educate and you draw it from within. And then you have to have a way to sustain what you have learned and keep yourself on a sustainable path, and that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. So I love the program. I love what I'm hearing. I think I got the picture. That's the picture you put.
That's it. Yes, we have an amazing educator, Miss Kimberly Caraway, that is a brilliant young lady, and she has worked with the educators of your country, having principal academies and being able to teach the teachers. She wrote an amazing book about the brain and how people learn and why people don't learn. And she's been able to be a missionary through the Belize Project of the USA for many, many, many years, pouring into your education system, even to the point where the Wilson Reading program was introduced as your education, that they were looking, I'm going to say Minister of Education, I believe, was looking at, you had a phonics program, and then this Wilson Reading, I may tell the story a little off, but it was ways to allow people to learn how to read, which is the education heartbeat, because a reader will learn and they will be able to grow. A non-reader will struggle. And at that point, that was a medium focus. So we had rehabilitation for someone, whether they are in the gutter and on drugs, or they're just not achieving life and they're struggling. Then we had the education piece. So the Belize Project, and you'll hear more about that with Dr. Pam Kaufman in a minute, we bring talent and hearts and servants to your country to serve the needs that we see in rehab, in education, and micro-enterprise or entrepreneurship. So we've brought many people, business people, judges. Do you know the program that started under CJ, that was the drug court? CJ, your Chief Justice, he was befriending with Matt Kelton, and several judges that started the drug court in America were brought here to then help and walk with your government to be able to have the drug court opportunity. One of the gentlemen that works with us is a senior facilitator, Mr. Marlon Baptist. He was the first. Tony Collette was the second, and he's gone on and passed. But Marlon Baptist, as I speak of him, he was given the chance of rehab instead of incarceration, because they recognize that incarceration does not fit everybody. Yeah. Some people that are willing can be rehabbed. So he was a product of your government judicial system, that they did the drug court. He went to Jacob's Farm, then he went to Freedom House, then we helped him in his entrepreneurship, and then he engaged himself and said, I want to talk to those youth, because I was one of them. Yeah. So he now is in the schools. And he goes to the schools and shares his experience as well as the journey to freedom opportunity for each youth to walk in and start realizing their unique potential by their creator.
And I like the name Journey to Freedom, you know, the journey to freedom, because to be truly free, it's a journey. You have to embark on that journey, and it's a journey for life. You stay on that journey, right? And those components, those pillars you referred to are so key in it: rehabilitation, education, and entrepreneurship, because you got to sustain yourself when you are free. You know, you cannot be free and dependent at the same time, right?
Ruth Williams shares the composition of the board of the Belize Project and how funds are disbursed. We also hear from psychologist Dr. Pam Hernandez-Kaufman about dealing with trauma and the National Youth Director for Restore Small Groups in Belize, Kenroy Young. We step aside to hear from our partners, Minister Kevin Bernard, The Barry, Del Martin, and Silkgrass Farms.
We stay apart, then we love to fall. Count on you, count on one and all. This stuff for you, that for me, this stuff for we. This stuff for you, that for me, this stuff for we. Love and respect for the other. Fellow man, that is your brother, yeah.
Well, my name is Wilson Perez, better known as Chato. I'm the organizer and the president of the New Horizons Sporting Club. In 2022, we had the award and the sponsorship, full sponsorship from the Minister of Health. And now it is the fourth year that he is year after year sponsoring the tournament, and then it is something that has facilitated and eased the job for me, so that I could have a easier and tournament and organizing, when it comes to the Mundialito, which is a tournament that exists for the 22 years in Orange Walk, being the oldest district with the tournament. From that is a tournament that we do to keep kids off the streets, to help them, to keep them in positive activities. We have to give credit where it's due, and we have to applaud and thank these people who do the initiative, have the initiative, and help the people and the youth to grow in whatever skills they have.
Debari is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. Debari, get more, pay less.
Rice and beans, our Belizean tradition. Made even better with Silkgrass Farms cold-pressed coconut oil. Rich in healthy fat and full of natural flavor, our coconut oil brings out the best in every dish. From seasoning the pot for rice and beans to browning that perfect stew chicken, cooked on low heat, the coconut oil adds depth and richness to the flavor of your dish. Even when frying plantain, the coconut oil, cooked with gentle heat, brings out the natural sweetness, giving them that golden, crispy finish. Bring the true taste of Belize to the table with cold-pressed coconut oil by Silkgrass Farms.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart.
The Belize Project now, and its manager, teacher Ruth, Mrs. Ruth Williams, right? You are assisted by a board of directors, obviously, so maybe you can, I think you mentioned a few of them already, one or two, but let's go with your board of directors and see who all are involved in this project with you.
Okay, we have myself, the chairperson, Ruth Williams. We have Mr. Norman Willasey. He works at Kobe Foundation. He's our national director for Restore Small Groups. And he's also the vice chairperson of the Belize Project. We have Mr. Mario Castellanos. He's our senior trainer for the Restore Small Groups as well. He's our treasurer. We have the secretary, Mrs. Retired preschool head mistress, Beverly Pook. And we have Mr. Brad Patico as a board member.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my board. And all of us are working together. You know, it's a teamwork, and I can see where they supports me.
So, Mrs. Beverly Totty, right, who we could safely say loves Belize, and because 35 trips to Belize, that's amazing, right? And I want to thank you for choosing Belize, because Belize is love, and I don't have to sell Belize to you. You come here 35 times already. Your Hope Gala also recognized some of the people that contributed to the success of this organization, right? Maybe you can speak to that and again re-emphasize how important these galas are to the work that you do.
Right. Yes, we had an opportunity to honor a founder of the year, which is Ms. Gregoria Pat in San Jose, that works with women of the village, giving them jobs. It's an entrepreneur opportunity. They make bags, and they also are registered as an international trade, so they have had help. But she founded Flourish 31, so she was honored this year. Each year we honor a founder of the year, someone who has started a business from incubation, or someone who has registered a nonprofit in your country. We also have the ministry of the year, and it acknowledges someone who is doing exemplary work, and the opportunity that we partner together, that they are touching many lives. And this year, Kobe Foundation, Belize Central Prison, was given that honor. And Cisco Woods and Miss Ava Stedman received the honor. And that was solely because we have worked 10 years together, and over 7,500 men and women and youth have graduated from the Journey to Freedom program through their rehabilitation efforts. So they are very focused on that. And then we also give a volunteer, someone who has done just above and beyond. So each year we honor your country of their work to let them know that we see them, we appreciate them, and they have partnered with the Belize Project, making a difference, loving people, places, and things to life.
And I'm putting in a plug for Rotary. Can't resist this one, right? The Kobe Foundation was founded and is managed mainly by Rotarians.
Right. And again, the original team that came was from a Rotary club in Nashville, Tennessee.
That's a great connection there, so that Rotary touches all over the world. Rotary affects, and in a positive way, what happens in our world.
You had mentioned, how does the board of directors do? We take all of the ministries that we work with, and according to budgets and needs, we then do a pie chart of a division of the money that was raised. So at this point, we had a nice success. We are going to take that. The board of directors is going to look at all of the ministries that are under the umbrella. So we encourage anyone who is seeking funding or seeking direction or seeking knowledge that you get in contact with Ruth and the Belize Project, because we want to serve them that are serving your people.
So it's important to clarify here, the funds that you collect are not for administrative purposes, but rather for service purposes. So every dime you collect, so you don't use it to pay salaries and stipends, or you're all volunteers. I think that is important, and the work you do is your giving of yourselves to help your fellow human being.
The only person you talk about stipends, we have our Restore Small Groups with Journey to Freedom. We have our facilitators that we train to go into the classes, and at Kobe, at Jacob's Farm, at House of Dorcas, we have to train them, because we have a curriculum as well that goes along with with Journey to Freedom that he made. So we pay our facilitators to go into the for 1 hour, it's a stipend, to go into the classroom and do their small groups with the students. Them.
And that's expected. That's a function. So it's you pay for your functions, which is important. You pay for your functions, but the services rendered, like you put, but you don't really collect money to pay yourselves and that sort of thing. I think it's important that people understand that.
I have been blessed by others supporting the mission because they believe and they can't go. But my 35 trips has been self-funded unless someone said, here, I want to bless you for your plane ticket. So I want everyone to know that this is not a money-making opportunity. This is a true servanthood. And then God blesses because it's God's mission.
Servanthood. I like that.
For myself as a chairperson, it's not a money thing for me. My thing is to go out there and make the money for the organization. Yes, sir.
We can't do this alone. We're so much better together. So when we see a need or we have an opportunity or we have someone who's asking for more knowledge, we try to bring them back to your country. Year after year, that's what we've done. Women wanted to know how to sew, so we brought women who know how to sew to teach them. We cannot deal with the mental health issues of your country or the world. We have to bring knowledge and talent of experienced people. We can share so much, but when we see a need, we try to encourage others to come join us, to fill that need, to serve you better.
Have you had problems in recruiting?
No, actually, the Lord sends and the hearts are bended and they come. They come. There's groups that are coming on a regular basis through the Belize Project. Mr. Adrian Bartley is the executive director of the USA, and he brings groups and they serve your country on a regular basis. Groups of churches, groups of youth, many people.
Very good, very good.
Over 1,000 volunteers have come to your country through the Belize Project USA and then the local MPO, the Belize Project.
And who you brought along on this trip?
I brought Dr. Pam Kaufman, who is an amazing trauma training, and she'll have to tell you all of her education that she has. I probably would say it wrong, but we brought some very strong knowledge to help with trauma. We were in the high schools yesterday, and she spoke to the staff and the guards at Kobe Prison while we've been here. So she has already left golden nuggets to help in trauma responses for the mental health concern in Belize.
And that's a good doctor over there. So let's can I talk to her?
Yes, please.
We have Ken Roy too here, who is a youth director for Restore Small Group.
So we have Dr. Pam Hernandez Kaufman, who's a psychologist, like you're telling me, and Ken Roy Young, who is your national youth director, right?
In Belize, yes.
So we'll talk to them and find out what they do and their involvement and so on. All right? Thank you so much for talking with me. And now I've been joined by Dr. Pam Hernandez Kaufman, who is a psychologist, and Ken Roy Young, who is the National Youth Director of Restore Small Groups Belize. You know, I keep hearing all these restore groups, restore Belize, restore small groups, restore, and you all, from what I understand, are doing a wonderful job at restoring people's lives back to them, right?
That's the mission I have.
That's the mission you got?
That's the mission God gave me. I've been doing this work in mental health for 25 years, and I met Miss Toddy, who is the global person. I met her in 2019 taking the small group. I was involved in the small group. I met Scott Reel, and he said, you gotta meet Miss Beverly Toddy because she's doing amazing things in Belize. And I said, I know where Belize is from geography class in middle school. And I came in 2019 was my first trip.
What was your first impression when you stepped off that plane in Belize?
Not everybody speaks Spanish. I assumed everyone spoke Spanish because it's connected to Central America. So I brought all my materials in Spanish, and I said, oh, okay, Creole, it's something else. And also, it is beautiful here. It is amazing here. And the people have phenomenal talents, gifts, beauty internally, and incredible potential. There's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of hurdles to overcome. And I want to help. One of the first things that happened was we were in the prison, in Colby Prison, and I said, Bev, what else is happening here with the Belize Project? And she told me, well, we've got some domestic violence stuff happening. We've got some other things going on in rehabilitation. I said, I have experience in all of those things. I've done prison work. I've worked with drugs and alcohol. I know how difficult it is to overcome the trauma and to remain sober. And I can bring skills because we've got to get to the root of what happened generationally, what happened in family of origin, and heal those emotional wounds if anybody is ever going to be fully the person that God's created them to be. Mind, body, spirit, healing, it has to be the whole picture. Yeah. Let me help, let me come back. And then COVID.
COVID came, and what happened when COVID came? What did you do?
Wasn't able to come back until 2021. And when I came back in 2021, I brought lots of materials. I met with people individually to do trauma-focused treatment. I brought materials about what to do to overcome trauma, some skills that people can use when they are in trauma, and how to even identify if they're traumatized. Because people are walking around sort of wounded sometimes, and they don't even realize you're living in trauma. You're living a little bit underneath your potential because you have unrecognized or unidentified trauma.
Very quickly, trauma. What exactly is trauma?
Trauma is something that happens to someone that overrides the ability of their brain to even manage what is happening. Yeah. And so it is something that remains stuck in a person's memory in a different way than a positive experience does. It does not get processed. And so they get triggered. They get triggered when something else happens, and they either get shut down or they get sort of hyper aroused. Yeah. Acting out, shut down in depression. Anxiety, depression. So one of my jobs is to bring someone back into their window of tolerance. But we have to look at all of the groundwork that begins with the Journey to Freedom program and small group. But then when we lift up this information to the surface, oh, wow, I was hurt. I was abused in my home. I was neglected in my home. My dad wasn't there. My mom drank. I still have hurt. I still have wounds. That's where I come in. And I can talk about how to process that trauma. I can do actual treatment with someone, or I can give skills to them that they can use on their own.
But would one have to face the situation and bring it out? Or can they learn to conquer it and just throw it out instead of confess it out? Mentally.
God can heal anything. But for the most part, when we have a traumatic experience happen, we have to look at it. We have to acknowledge this happened, but it doesn't identify me. It doesn't mean, it doesn't need to control my life. What I've found in 25 years of doing this and traveling all over the world, I just got back from Israel doing the same thing in Jerusalem. What I've learned is shame is the single largest inhibitor of humans showing up and fully being who they are. Because they come to believe I'm less, I'm not good enough, God can't use me. My grandma said that I was not wanted, and all of these things with shame. And so the healing of shame.
And, okay, let's bring in Kenroy in this. Kenroy, your connection with all of this?
Well, my journey with Restore Small Groups here in Belize started at Colby Foundation when I was there serving an 11-year sentence in 2014. I was in a meeting with the then former CEO, Mr. Earl Jones, about seeking employment at the Sidney Craig School in the prison as a facilitating academic teacher. And he said that, I believe I have the right thing for you to do. And that was going into the Journey to Freedom program that was being introduced to the prison, but they needed to train facilitators to do the program within the institution. So I took it into consideration at that time, and I was living in the convicted section named Tango 11 at that time. And he said that the program was going to be introduced to the general population, but they needed to train a team of facilitators. So I undertook the program at that time as a intern, as a participant, being introduced to the program and learning what it was about. I had recently came out of the Ashcraft Rehabilitation Center intensive therapy treatment program for 90 days, and he said, Kenroy, I would love you to be a part of this program. It's something good for you, and I believe you're just the right person that can sow the seeds from this program that need to be sown in the prison, and for those inmates who will receive the program to continue it on and share the trend of the program when they go back out into society. And after I took the program, it was for, I would believe, 3 months we did the program, the Journey to Freedom program. It's a 36-day program that's designed from the book written by Mr. Scott Reel, and we undertook it in 30 days for 1/4 of the book, and then we did other 2/4 of the book in 90 days. So it was more expanded out for us as inmates in the prison, because they wanted us to really have the time to reflect on what information was being imparted from the program. And I would say that the program was set up different from the AA 12-step program that I had undertook at the Ashcraft Rehabilitation Center. It was more free, it was more, it was not that more structured in terms of the discipline they want to instill within you through the rehabilitation process. It was like a really kind of welcoming environment. We sat around in some circles, in semicircles. We sat in that formation with our facilitators that were doing the program at that time, introducing it to us. And one of the most impactful stories I took away from the Journey to Freedom module, the book 1, was the angel in the stone, a story of the angel in the stone, where the angel in the stone.
Tell me the story.
I have defects of character. As a human individual, I have defects of character, and some of those defects of character became more uncontrollable and unmanageable to me, the individual Kenroy, and these defects kept me from my full potential that God destined and had already written for me. So at that time, the story of the angel in the stone tells you of these different defects of character that you have and these different challenges that you face and triggers that can trigger your emotions, and then you make choices that are haphazard and very quick. So at that time, Jesus has this angel. It's a story of where Jesus chips away piece by piece the different defects that you have in this stone. A stone is built inside me from these defects of character. Yes, the core beliefs that I have, the way how I viewed the world and how I believe the world viewed me, that's how I responded to the world. So I would ask God to change and to remove all these defects of character from me. But I realize in life sometimes there are defects of character that I wouldn't say that God lets it remain with you, but if you heard the story of where Paul asked God to remove his medical issues, and he was praying for God to remove them, but God, in spite of removing them, he kept them, those health implications and difficulties with Paul, so that Paul would be dependent on God. So there are some defects of character that I still have. If I would say that God have removed and chipped away everything at one single time throughout the program, it's a false reality. It's a process. My journey to transformation, my journey to renewed growth and healing, it's a process that I have to undertake with God's help. Seeds were planted by the program, and there are people around me who continue to pour into me, and God waters me, and then the transformation continues along on its process. So we're chipping away piece by piece each defect of character, each challenge, each core belief that I had, the way how I viewed the world and how the world viewed me. It's being chipped away slowly, and I'm receiving where I had that a lot of anger or pain, or where I had toxic shame, we're implementing now the fruits of the Spirit. Kindness, love, long-suffering. We're chipping away the old things, and all those things are becoming new.
That's an excellent example, right?
I love that. I use one in therapy that I find beautiful as well, and it's the story of the Golden Buddha of Thailand. And the story goes that around 250 years ago, the Burmese army was coming through Thailand and they were going to destroy this beautiful, solid golden Buddha. And so the monks covered it up with stone so that it looked normal. So then the army comes through, they're going to bypass this thing that doesn't look very valuable. It's the same thing. And so about 50 years ago, archaeologists are coming through and they see this glistening underneath stone. And they say, what is going on? And they begin chipping away to reveal what it really was. And this is what happens in life. Things happen to us. Things happen to us because we do them, and to ourselves, and because we're wounded, because we're just trying to find a place, we're trying to survive. And so we end up covering ourselves up with this stone, but the real essence is this golden beauty that God created us to be in the first place. That's how I see my work, whether it's in Belize or in the United States or somewhere else. That can I help someone find the golden, valuable version of themselves that they were always created to have.
But it has to start with you accepting and recognizing that you do have this cover on you.
There's something going on with me. I view the world a certain way. I view myself a certain way. What is my core schema? What is my core cognition of myself? What gets triggered in me when there's just a scenario going on? Do I feel left out? Do I feel judged? Do I back up? Do I become aggressive? And then I begin to explore, what's this about? And the Journey to Freedom book is an excellent tool for beginning to look at, oh, maybe that's what is happening here. One of the things I know, though, for sure, sir, is no one knows, no one cares how much I know when I come to Belize or anywhere else until they know how much I care.
Yeah. So caring.
Number one.
Number one.
It has to be communicated. I see you, I care about you, I value you, and then you'll listen to what I know.
In our final segment, Kenroy Young shares his story and some of the challenges faced by young people. We will be back after a word from our partners, Minister Kevin Bernard, DeBarry, Del Martin, and Silkgrass Farm.
It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart right now. Unity, yes, you better know. It's the only way to go. We stay apart, then we'll have to fall. We count on you, count on one and all. It's not for you, not for me.
Orange Walk, the future is brighter. Since Kevin Bernard became your representative, progress has never stopped, with Plan Belize 2.0 leading the way. In Palmar, 2 main roads have been paved. The main road that passes through Tower Hill Village has been paved, connecting our community. In Tan Pine Ridge, the entire road has been paved, a major step forward. And every month, new roads are being paved in Orange Walk East. Kevin Bernard is committed to building a stronger Orange Walk East, one road at a time. Together, we're moving forward. Kevin is the people's champion.
DeBarry is your one-stop store of choice. We have an array of electronics and accessories to keep you connected. Your home will be the envy of your friends when you choose from a wide variety of household appliances. We can help you dress the entire family in style and comfort with our selection of clothing and footwear. Visit our store on Albert Street in Belize City, San Pedro, La Isla Bonita, Park Street in Orange Walk Town, Belmopan, and San Ignacio, Santa Elena. DeBarry, get more, pay less.
At Silkgrass Farms, we believe in more than just growing food. We're cultivating a future. Across 9,000 acres in the foothills of the Maya Mountains, our family of farms grows a vibrant array of crops, coconuts, citrus, cacao, watermelons, avocados. But our mission goes beyond harvests. Through sustainable agriculture, we are not just growing crops, we're strengthening ecosystems and reversing the impacts of climate change. Siltgrass Farms is a part of a global movement, transforming modern food systems into living stories of nutrition, nature, and people. From our fields to your table, every product tells a story of health and hope for the future.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel you come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what? All are we the one. See what I mean? Jump and shout all over the nation. We're breaking out with a new creation. It's been too long, we've got to unite now. Time and space can't keep us apart.
You know, you had to accept first that you had a problem, right?
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of us have problems, but we don't want to accept that we do have a situation we need to chip away at.
The first step in acknowledging that I have a problem and that I need help. I cannot help myself because I've been drowning in my situations. I read the Bible a lot, and it speaks of where I dig myself in a pit and then I cry out to God for him to deliver me from that pit. And that's the same thing. I had to come to a realization because over the many years when I was a youth and giving some of my adolescent rebelliousness, people will always give me good advice. And I've never had negative influences around me growing up. I just saw things and I read things and I heard things and I wanted to participate in certain things that were negative and destructive to my growth as a young person, and I made wrong choices, I made wrong decisions, and I would always believe that I knew everything. When someone was telling me something is wrong, I'm doing the wrong way, choosing the wrong path, making the wrong choices, I would say, well, I don't need nobody to, tell me what to do. I know what I can do and I know what I'm going to do. So I had to realize that now being in prison after all those years of advice and still going on the wrong path and making wrong choices, I had to realize that I needed to change. When I went into prison in 2011, I told myself on June the 20th, I'll never forget 2011, I got up 3 o'clock in the morning and I was like, I can't do this. I can't serve out this time. So I was looking for the easy way out. I had torn some sheets and made some rope, and I had climbed up in an area within the cell, high up in the prison, and I wanted to commit suicide at that time, and my cellmates were all sleeping, and one of them got up and he heard movement and he was looking around, but I was already at the top. But he went to use the bathroom facilities, and when he turned around, he saw me up there, and then he made an alarm. And so at that time, the officers came, all my cellmates got up, and I was like, I had a young man who was serving a life sentence living across from me, and he was like, that's not the way to do it, and that's not the way out. He said, if you know that you don't want to be in a place like this, you have to realize for yourself that you will need to change your life for you. So when he told me that at about after the officers came and they wanted to take me, and some of the guys were asking the officers not to take me because once you do an action like that and attempt suicide, you're going to go into the isolation area of the prison and suicide watch. So they left me there, and about around 4 o'clock I was sitting on my bed and I started crying, and I pulled out a Bible my mother had given me, my grandmother's Bible, and then I turned to Psalm 51, and that's a psalm that I was crying, and I read that psalm on the bed, and then I got down on my knees, and I just feel like an intense heat enveloped my entire body while I was kneeling down, and I prayed and I asked God if you protect me while I'm in this place, and I come out, I don't want to come out the same way that I came in. So I undertook my programs, and Journey to Freedom was one of the longest programs that I took and became involved with in the prison. I became a facilitator of the program. Then I became an inmate coordinator for the program within the prison, and I did other series of books following down the course line from Journey to Freedom to Journey to a Life of New Beginning after a grief and loss. Then I did Journey to a Life of Significance. And the last book that I did while I was in prison before I left Colby in 2022 was Journey to Living with Courage. I did an introduction on it, and I graduated from that program as well and became a facilitator. And it's just something within me that I used to tell the men in prison, if these programs could be in our high schools, and some of the programs from the Ashcroft Rehabilitation Prison that teaches about the New Direction module and stuff like that, I believe that we could have a change in our society in the way how our young people think and act in making life choices, serious life choices, because at times we make choices when we're young and we don't have the knowledge and that enough awareness to make the choices that we're making, and we believe I got it right. I can smoke drugs, I can drink alcohol, I can party. If I have a female pregnant before I graduate from high school, I'm a man, and that's the right thing, you know. And then it gives me joy to impart the program to other young people today. When I was doing it at the Wagner's Youth Facility in the prison in the Romance section at Colby, and also since coming out of prison, 4 years before I came out to prison, I became an intense prayer warrior. And I watched a movie that encouraged me to become a prayer warrior. It's called War Room. And when I watched that movie, it transformed the way how I thought about praying. And then I started listening to a pastor in prison through the Jeremiah 33.3 station at the prison, Joel Osteen, and his form of carrying across a message that awakened something in me to start to speak and speak what I wanted to have manifest in life. So I would pray and ask God for grace. I would pray and ask Him for favor. I would pray and ask Him for wisdom to make the right choices. When I come out of prison, I would be praying and thanking God for things that I didn't have any at all. And since coming out of prison, I've shared with a lot of people, especially the youths that I teach the Journey to Freedom program with in schools and facilitate these programs, that many things I prayed for before I come out of prison, God has me walking into them up to now. Yeah. And I am still left amazed that, and I have to sit down and stop sometimes and give God thanks, even when sometimes I moving fast and speeding, and I have to stop sometimes and take a break, and like I have to say, well, I thank God. I just have to say, thank you. I remembered you told me if I would pray for this, and you promised me this from your word, that if I would do this for you, you would do this for me. And then one of the things, it's not like I do these things because I want God to do something for me. It's always that I remember one part of the Bible that I will never forget. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added on to you. And it's like I used to think back when I remember that verse and I say it. I wanted materialistic things. That's why I was stealing when I was younger and doing all the wrong things. It's materialistic thing. And then in Ecclesiastics, you see where King Solomon says that he's done everything under the sun and it's not satisfied him. And he returned back to God. And that's the same thing I believe I went through, a Job transformation, an Ecclesiastics transformation with King Solomon, a Joseph transformation, being locked in prison and knowing the potential and the gifts that I have and that I use it to do the wrong thing. But then God sees fit in His time and His purpose to know that, Kenroy, you went through all these because I need you to a certain place, but you're not there yet, so I need you to have a transformation. And that's what Journey to Freedom did for me. And now today, I am a living example of the mission and the vision of the Belize Project and what it does through its ministry, Restore Small Groups here in Belize.
You have said it all. That story is amazing, you know. And that just shows the power of the program that you're all doing, you know.
Combined with God.
With God, yeah.
He brings the increase. He's the magic formula. He really is. You know, I can provide tools, I can provide skills, I can do a trauma-focused treatment modality like brain spotting or eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, but it's really about the Holy Spirit. Yeah. It's really about that. And it is a process, just like you mentioned, you know, to get that rubble off, to get to that golden part of us, to get to that, the pure essence of who we were created to be. It takes time. And sometimes we just need someone who believes in us, someone who sees us, someone who cares about us, someone who reaches in and says, that's not the way, Kenroy, that's not the way. God has something for you. And we're born looking for a face.
Exactly. Just be a little conversation. It could be, you know, in minute that somebody plants a small seed.
A small seed, as someone who asks the question, how are you today? As someone who notices you, as someone who cares.
You mentioned a passage of scripture, seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you. And I think Jesus was asked after that, Master, where is the kingdom of heaven, this kingdom you're talking about? What did he say?
The kingdom is the kingdom is at hand. The kingdom is here.
It's inside.
It's inside. Right? Yeah.
So it comes that's proof of of that passage of scripture there, because he had all this inside him, right? Already. And when he sought the kingdom of heaven, right, all this was revealed that he had inside of him, because the kingdom is already inside of him, right? Is that would be a good analogy?
Yes, and we always go back and give God the glory.
Of course, God does it.
It's not about us. We're just the tools. One thing I do want to really encourage here in Belize and everywhere, there's a tendency specifically for men to believe they're strong, to believe they don't need help, to believe they don't need to reach out. There's a machismo. This is in my country too. And so they're isolated. They become isolated. Listen, we're made for connection. We are all built to connect vertically with God and horizontally with one another. Women do this. We talk to one another. We talk and talk and talk. Nothing changes maybe. Our situation stays the same, but we feel there's a connection. But men stay to themselves sometimes, and they develop toxic habits because we're supposed to connect and we're supposed to be vulnerable. And so I just want to encourage men to know that this group, restore small groups where they're talking with one another and they're finding out, like C.S. Lewis said, oh, you too? I thought it was just me. We're more alike than we're different. This is healing.
So, Kenroy, as National Youth Director of Restore Small Groups Belize, break down your job description.
Well, I oversee the running and the logistical works and the management of our team that goes into the high schools and that do program with male and female students at these institutions. I came on board in 2024 in January. So by the grace of God, next year, January, I'll be having 2 years as a part of the Journey to Freedom family here in Belize. And now people above me in the structure of the organization, they've seen the talents and the gifts that I've had that God has placed in me, and they've put their, what would you say? I would say that they've put their trust and their hope in me that I can share what I have within me with others so that they can one day take up the mantle of what I'm doing, because I don't believe that I will remain at youth director for Restore Small Groups for 20, 30 years, because then I believe that God can use me in any situation, in any place at any given time, but I ensure that everything is run logistically as well as it can run, organize the program, structure the schedules and everything. I also go into the schools and I facilitate and I share my testimony and I help to bring that hope and healing and plant the seeds of hope and healing among the young people in our society, because our young people have a lot of challenges that they face today. Sometimes their challenges are more than adults are facing, and their complications and their traumas, as Miss Pam said, Dr. Pam said, their traumas are very deep. And I always try to tell them that sometimes the way they're acting out in school, maybe if they're having behavioral problems or they have emotional issues and challenges, I try to tell them that it's good to talk about it. A lot of people don't believe that if I tell you what's my personal fears or some of the struggles I'm going through, they want to keep it hidden because of that fear of rejection.
Yeah.
So they're not comfortable to let it out. We don't have a culture of young people who love to talk about what they're going through. They find other avenues to express those pains and hurts, and then they become the wrong decisions that they make, and then wrong actions follow. So I always encourage them in programs, if you have a problem, talk it out. If you don't want to talk it out in group, you can always talk to me on the side after, and if it's an issue that's very urgent and beyond the limitations and guidelines of our program, then I would go and then I would forward that to the administrator of the institution or the counselors at these schools that I work with, because I want to see the young people that I work with get the help that they need, because many people believe that there aren't avenues of help in Belize when we're facing challenges, all kind of life challenges, and if we don't seek the help and offer it to them while they're young now, then we have a continuous cycle and a repetitiveness of prevalence of the crimes that are happening today in our society. So the Journey to Freedom program on a whole, in all the modules, it brings you to a place where you seek the Creator, you seek a supreme being higher than yourself. My life has become unmanageable. I can't manage it anymore, so I need to trust the higher power, to believe in that power, to make the transformation within me. And then, as Ms. Dr. Pam said, we are just the tools. My facilitators are prison, they were just the tools.
So let's look at some of the issues you encounter in these small groups and the format that is used to address these issues that are brought up by our young people.
Some of the challenges that the young people face are very complex in the schools that we go across, because they come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. And if you look, for instance, in the module of our program and how it's structured, the first thing I do as a facilitator in doing Journey to Freedom small groups in schools is I would open each of my sessions with a prayer, and then I would have the students read the Welcome to Journey group student letter. I would ask for a volunteer to read that welcome letter to the group session, or I would read it myself. And then from there we move on to the feelings chart. There's a chart that is known as the feelings chart in our curriculum and guideline for the program. It has about 6 to 7 different feelings that we as individuals can relate to offhand. And with each feeling comes an impairment and a benefit, a disadvantage and an advantage to each one of those feelings that you could identify with. And most of my students, when I would ask them, okay, so we're starting the feelings chart at this time, and I would go first, and then I would pass it along to someone else. And sometimes some of them would say, I would ask, how do you feel? And then, you know, when they get the chart, one would say hunger, another would say anger, another one would say hunger. And I was like, going over all these schools when I first started in 2024, I was like, there are a lot of these students saying they're hungry, but that's not a feeling on the chart that we're relating to at the moment. But I stop and I say to myself in my mind, they always say if students aren't fed, if I'm not fed, if I don't eat, how can you expect me to function in the classroom? So I was like, you're hungry, no, you're in program, but if you're hungry, your mind and your focus will be on your stomach to get something to eat. You're not focusing on what we're here to discuss in the program. So I would go to the school administrators and I would ask them, and I would point out to them these issues that students are speaking about, these feelings that they're saying that they can relate to, and I would explain the chart to these school principals and point it out to them. Well, I have a majority of my students saying in program that they're hungry, so I'm asking about, are they on the food school feeding program and stuff like that, and then I get answers and results to what I'm hearing from my students, and I try to push for these institutions to make certain changes. If I have to go into my pocket myself sometimes and get them something to eat, and if I have it, I do it. Sometimes I will be left with nothing, but I am a survivor. I know how to get around and move around and to, sometimes get some things done for myself. But then when I'm seeing my young people in these schools going through these challenges such as food insecurity, their socioeconomic background problems, sometimes our students have challenges getting to school on time to meet when the bell rings in the morning or classes are called in. And if they are late, they're either given detentions, they're given demerits, their parents are called in if it's a repetitive issue, and then you have this friction being created between student and administration, that this administration isn't hearing them out, that I could be waiting on the roadside in Lord's Bank for a bus, and if the bus is full to capacity, it will pass me. If every bus that passes is full to capacity, it will pass me. And it's because I get up at 7 o'clock to catch an early bus, and then I get up earlier because it's causing the students problem at schools.
Anxiety.
Yes, and then, all kind of issues start to come up, and then you have dysfunctions in some of the homes. That's another challenge some of the students face, because sometimes I would hear certain things from some of them that point to that, and then those are things that I really can't deeply address. So I would go and have a talk with the counselor and the principals of the school to see if there is the necessary help that they can provide to these students to have this problem not become detrimental to them. And if they can't, then I find the avenues and the connections and reach out to different people and resources to recommend to the institutions for them to be guided to help these young people, because that I want them to know that when we come into our schools doing Journey to Freedom program into their schools, that we care about them, that we love them, that we see them, that we hear them, and that we're going to be there for them. And I always explain to them that not everything happens on spot. Things takes time, it takes a process, but if God sees you putting in the effort, I will be there putting in my effort. He will bring about a great result.
That is so, and I know you are eager to comment on what he's saying. I'm looking at you.
It's such a good point. My brain can't function if I'm hungry.
Yeah.
My brain can't function if I'm tired. And I suspect that, like the students I taught prior to this, I was a teacher in Los Angeles at an inner city school. And so I well understand. I'm just looking at a new set of faces that I saw yesterday with the same problems that happened there. I'm going to bed at 1 in the morning because I can't sleep because my dad's abusing me. I'm getting up early to help mom take care of the kids and dress them. I'm parentified, and so now I'm sent to school, and this has very little meaning for me, and my brain cannot be online. What I saw yesterday was, and I always use the hand-brain model like this, I said, well, this is your body, and this is your brain stem. Your fight-flight-freeze center, which is your anxiety center, is needing always to be covered up by your prefrontal cortex. This is where I make decisions, where I can think, where I can manage my emotions. What I saw yesterday was a classroom like this. Fight, flight, freeze center. And so this idea of providing safety, but meeting needs first, the bottom line needs, like Jesus did. I feed you, I clothe you, I give you shelter. All of the needs can't be met, I recognize. But yeah, we have to take those students where they are and help with those needs so they can then focus on the other needs. One of the things I taught them yesterday was the skill of slow breathing to calm down this. The limbic system, the fight, flight, freeze center. How do I get my prefrontal cortex back online quickly? I slow down my breathing. And so I showed them the breathing square, and I'd like to show that to everyone because this is something you can do right away.
Show us that.
Breathe in through our nose always. We exhale through our mouth because this part of us activates the rest and digest center of my nervous system. So I smell the flowers, and I blow out the candles. And I smell the flowers, and I blow out the candles. And as I repeat this 4, 5 times, I have actually activated my parasympathetic nervous system, which is my rest and digest center. It's a quick way to just calm my system down. I showed them the breathing soup also, where I smell my favorite soup, and it's so hot I blow it out. God's given me tools just with my respiratory system and just with the ability to ground myself by putting my feet on the ground, counting, looking for a certain color in my atmosphere, and that's all I'm doing right now, using my senses. These are just natural skills that I've taught all over the world, and we can use them. And you can use it right now if you're feeling anxious.
Of course, I look at the greenery there.
There it is.
And
There's green
digest
everywhere in
There's
Belize.
green everywhere. Beautiful,
Just a word of encouragement too. The work that is happening through this program is phenomenal. If there could be more laborers to come, because the work is plenty and the laborers are few, I would love to see it go down even younger into an age group of 10-year-olds, 11 and 12-year-olds, because when we're starting at 17 or 18, they've already dealt with quite a bit.
This has been really an amazing experience talking with you. Thank you so much for affording me this opportunity to get to know more about the Belize Project. And let me congratulate you all on the wonderful work you're doing here in our beloved country, Belize, right? What came out of this is, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything will be added unto you. God comes first, right?
Amen.
So it's God, then country, ourselves, and right so down the line, right? And then our neighbor as ourselves.
Amen.
But it's all about love. But before we talk about the love, we have been talking about love all along, because love is what inspires all of what we are doing here, is inspired by love. So let's get some quick closing remarks from each of you. Who would like to go first? You want to go first, Glenn? Oh, you want to go first?
Sure.
As a psychologist?
I love Belize. As God gives me ability to come, I will come back and help with the skills that He's given me. In the United States, sometimes people say, why are you going to Belize? We have so many needs right here. I said, I understand that, and I serve here as well. Yeah. But I need to go where the resources are fewer, with the talent that God's given me, with the time that I have left. Thank you very much for your comment, but I'm going. This is my 4th time, and I don't plan on it being my last, as long as Miss Toddy will have me.
Will you match her 35 years? 35 times?
I'm not sure I'm older than her. Okay. But if I could become an honorary citizen, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Well, that's a good message to whoever is listening that can facilitate that, right? But Dr. Pam Hernandez-Kaufman, psychologist, thank you so much for the wonderful work, and thanks for choosing Belize. Right?
Thank you.
That was an amazing story, an amazing testimony. I really enjoyed listening to it. It really touched me and showed the greatness and the power of God, and how lives can be transformed if we would only care more about our fellow human being, if we'd only do what the Bible says and love your neighbor as you love yourself. So, Kenna, let's get some closing remarks from you.
My closing remarks is that I read a book that my mom sent for me from the United States, because she lives in America. She migrated to America almost 12 years ago, and there's a book that made so much of a difference in my life. And like the last 3 years of my prison time, the name is Believer's Authority. And a part of that book that I read, because as I would read, I would highlight those things that would jump out to me more. And one of the paragraphs in that book, it says that the parents wanted a change so much for their son, who was on a destructive path, that people were telling them that they have done so much that they can't do no more. They've gone beyond and reached their limits. They've done their best, so that it would be time for them to let him go, to cut him off, because he would bring them and drain them down emotionally. He would bring them down mentally and spiritually. So the pastor told them in counseling, the best option now is to continue praying for your son, and that one day those prayers will be answered. If it's not in the physical realm, it will happen in the spiritual realm in heaven. Because we store up our treasures, but they're stored up in heaven. So when reading that, in knowing all the trials and tribulations I put my mother through, my adopted mother, who I know only as mom, I don't say adopted mom as my mom, she has encouraged me and never gave up on me. And a pastor said the same words. I remember she told me once when I was younger that he said, Kenroy, God is speaking to me now. Kenroy, don't give up. He said to my mom, Ara, don't give up on Kenroy. I have not given up on you, so don't give up on him. So I apply that to myself. Don't give up on my young people that I'm working with and whoever I come in contact with, because so many people haven't given up on me. God hasn't given up on me. So I just want to leave that as the last part of what I have to say here today, that I encourage everyone who is listening and tuning in to this video and this series, do not give up on yourselves. Do not give up on your loved ones. Do not give up on your community. God hasn't given up on you, so don't give up on them.
Amazing, amazing. Teacher Ruth Williams.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, I have to say that I'm grateful to be a part of the Belize Project organization. And my thing is, we are here to transform lives in our healing communities of our beautiful jewel, Belize. And like what Kenway said, I want to encourage people out there that there is help. Okay, there is help. Don't give up. And the only person who can help us is the Most High, God. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Bev, you got the last word.
I do, and I get to share that the Belize Project has been a blessing to me to be able to serve those who God has shown us. Working with the Belize Project has allowed me to meet some amazing people with big hearts, but they don't know exactly what to do with that. So we become a platform that says, let's share the hope of Christ with others. And that's one thing we can all do, is that if we have been met and we have been transformed and restored, we have an obligation and a responsibility to see them that are behind us and encourage them, just like Paul did Timothy. And then I'm sure the disciples did others. We are a product of what Jesus did with the disciples by calling them, giving them place and purpose, and then encouraging them to make the world a better place. When Peter asked Jesus, what are we going to do? He said, we're going to change the world. So Belize is a beautiful place, and I am honored to be able to do my part, plant the seeds, water the seeds, but I am amazed at how God is continuing to bring the harvest of the souls back unto Him, because that is where we see peace and our heaven on earth. So thank you.
Thank you too. And you know, you all are doing your best in what you are doing. And thank you so much for doing that. You know, my grandfather, Reverend James A.C. Eliot, wrote a poem that I'd like to leave with you guys, right? It's a poem that has guided me. And so I just share it with you, right? It's very short, right? The best. It's titled The Best. And I think our brother over here mentioned the best, right? If what you have done is all you could the best, then be content and leave to God the rest.
Amen.
Things fluctuate.
Amen.
Nor joy, nor sorrow stays. Oft-changing scenes and changing moods amaze. But he who learns that in all things there is good, that passing failure are but strengthening food, will climb the hill, though his defeats confess, and push through all to sweet success. Formula for success. I have used that formula, really, in all honesty. Yes. Do your best, be content, and leave to God the rest. But when you do that, you do it with love. But love is a choice that we all make. We can choose to love, we can choose to do otherwise. You all have chosen to love, we have chosen to love, and I trust you have chosen to love your fellow human being as you love yourself, and love God first of all, though. You know, and when you choose to love, we'll always say to you, Belize and beyond, thanks for choosing love.
Celebration time. It don't matter what part of the jewel they come from. You da you and me da me. But guess what?